And good evening, creeps. Hi, guys and creeps. Guys and creeps. Let me smoke. Okay, guys and creeps. As you know, I've been talking about mad doctors. And if you don't know what a mad doctor is a doctor that kills people for profit. Okay. A mad scientist is a scientist that is usually working in a pharmaceutical company nowadays, making medications based off of weird scientific discoveries that do nothing but kill the patient. Okay. So we're living in a decade that nobody talks about. We're living in an era that nobody talks about Dr. Frankenstein or Dr. Karloff or any of the mad doctors that... There used to be a time on our planet when Dr. Frankenstein was a big topic for the elderly people that was in our... And when I was growing up, a lot of elderly people knew about this term, mad doctors. Elderly people were scared of hospitals and doctors because when they grew up, they had heard stories about this Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein was a real doctor that was killing people. I told the story of Dr. Frankenstein, and we can't forget about Dr. Frankenstein. There was also a doctor that I can't even find him on Google. His name was Dr. Karloff. Dr. Karloff was, he was a mass murderer that was killing people left and right. And he was also like a similar personality like a Dr. Frankenstein. When the people were dead, he would also do strange stuff to dead people. He was kind of a mixture when they're dealing with dead people, when they're dealing with living people, and then they start fucking with dead people too. That's when they turn into mad scientists. So they start off as mad doctors, and then they go into mad scientific research when they're researching on dead bodies all the time. Gotta be careful around doctors nowadays. Please be careful out there. This subject matter is very near and dear to my heart because I know a lot of stuff about mad doctors. People get killed in hospitals all the time, and people think they're just dying of natural causes. They don't realize that a lot of these doctors are just simply mass murderers. They're literally in these hospitals killing people for money. Why? Because they don't care. They don't give a fuck about you. What you need to start doing is, if you're going to give birth to a baby, have your baby inside your house. Have your baby get a midwife and do a water birth in the bathtub, or if you got a swimming pool, or just do a birthing bed. But don't go to the hospitals anymore to have a child. It's not necessary. They're cutting women open like turkeys too much for these C-sections on young girls. Slicing somebody's stomach open and getting the baby out of their stomach instead of them, literally pushing a baby out of their vagina like it should be. I mean, no, your body is not going to create something that's too big for you to push out. Your body is special, and your baby grew inside of you. That is the fruit of your womb. And you trust me, your body knows what to do with its own fruit. You don't have to be worried about pushing your own baby out. We got to start getting more self-sufficient instead of leaving and running to somebody else that's making money off of our lives. If I ever have another child again, I will never do it in a hospital. Never. I'll never do that again. I didn't have a C-section. I had natural vaginal childbirth. I pushed my child out in 3 pushes, and she was there on my chest. I would never, ever go to another hospital ever again for childbirth if I ever get so lucky to have another child. Now, so always try to research childbirthing classes. Find out how your body works. Research the uterus. Research placentas. Research umbilical cords. Start researching and let your husband. It got to be more husband and wives just in the bedroom. You made the baby together. Bring it to completion. If it was up to me, I would have a husband and wife birthing teams. If the man is not going to be there, and trust me, Anderson was there like I described in the live. He was there throughout the whole process. He was, and even Ryan knows that, and he was there. Okay. Now let me tell you something. Women also have to start being more protective of your bodies. just giving birth to any nigger's baby, or just giving birth to any man's baby that you meet on the streets. You don't know who this man is hardly. And then, then when you go to the hospital, it's another man that's there to cut your stomach open, take your baby out, like cutting you open like a turkey, splicing through your muscles just to take a baby. All this to get more money for childbirth. So instead of you just having a baby, they're going to charge you for surgery, surgical anesthesia, extra stays in hospitals. It's just to make more money for themselves. Then what are you going to do? Walk around with a permanent scar, all cut with your belly all cut up and carved up. Don't go to no more hospitals for childbirth, please. And then if you got a cold, research. Natural remedies to take care of colds. Just stop running to those fruitcakes, because they're just doing nothing but killing us. All those pharmaceuticals, if you can't trace it back to a plant, don't swallow it. Don't swallow somebody's pills. A mad doctor is mad scientist just fucking us over. Your body is very specific. You need to start learning how your body works. Instead of spending time watching music videos and playing video games and listening to music all day, you need to have basic essentials in life. Learn how your body works. Learn how your nutrients work. Learn how hair is made. Learn what makes nails grow. Learn how eyes work. Learn how intestines work. Learn how, I could tell you how all of that works. Learn how hearts work. Learn how, I could tell you all of that. I know about deficiencies. If something goes wrong with my body, I know about water retention, how to get rid of that on my own. You got to learn how body mechanics. You got to be your own body mechanic if something goes wrong. You're getting to, if you're running around paying people, learn basic legal strategies. Learn how to file a lawsuit yourself. I spend time learning life things that I need in life without running and paying somebody. I grew up very poor, so I understand life without having money to pay somebody to do this for me, pay somebody else to do that for me, pay somebody to do this for me, pay somebody to do that for me. I don't have it like that. I don't have money to pay this person for that, pay this person for that. I got to learn how to do things for myself. And I suggest you learn how to do things for yourself. So when something goes wrong and you need legal advice, call a lawyer for the briefing, for the free consultation. And then if you got to do any legal strategies to correct the damages, then you know how to go about your own strategies. And now you're your own attorney. You're not licensed to practice law, but you can still be your own attorney. It's not illegal. You can be your own medical doctor, your own naturopath. That's your body. You know what you need, not some stranger running lab tests and lab works. You don't need all that. You got to take your time. Take your time to start learning other things. Learn all kinds of things. What is my field? Aviation. I know about airplanes. But am I going to stop at airplanes? No, I know linguistics. I know English, French, Spanish, Russian. I know different languages. Okay. I know aviation. I know basic legal strategies. I know basic naturopathy. Okay, you got to learn different things. I'm even into science. What am I doing? Writing a theory on evolution so I could publish it on my own website. I'm a scientist too. Theories of evolution. I don't have to depend on Darwin's theory. He was the one that gave me the theory. I have to always give credit to Darwin. But, I am in the process of writing a book on the theories of evolution, according to the goddess Fifi. So, like I said, I always will give credit to Darwin because he was the basis of my education when it came to scientific studies of evolution. He was the greatest in my mind, the greatest scientist that I had ever come across. Darwin's theory. Okay. So, what I wanted to say, we got to talk about these doctors. Okay. Now, what you got to understand is the origins of things. Okay. So many things in society get lost in people when we start getting old people in our lives that pass away. My grandfather was born in 1919. He was born in Oklahoma. He died in Las Vegas, Nevada. He died at damn near 100 years old. His dad was from Oklahoma as well, and he was born around 1864. My grandfather's my great grandfather's wife, she was from Louisiana, and she was born in the mid 1800s too. And they're dead and gone, so all that history is gone. Everything that they knew, that I knew from my own grandfather, we have to remember these things are now very old. That's from, he had knowledge from as far back as 1864, according to his grandfather's tales and stories of different things that had happened during the Great Depression, during polio, during all these things, these eras. So we can't just have things getting lost. You know, when things get old and people pass away, you know, they get lost and they'll be gone forever. Okay, unless somebody in your family can pass on and write a book on, you know, what was their perspective based on these things, and so on and so forth. Okay, so, you know, what was startling to me is what my grandfather told me about doctors. Okay, and what other old people had told me about the Mad Doctor era. I also held on to the fact that people were robbing graves in the 1940s. I was taught about the grave robbers, and they're back. People's graves are being robbed. Now, why are they stealing these dead bodies? For these, obviously, there's always money on a body. You know, somebody needs that body for an insurance fraud scam. Now, back during Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Wilma, Hurricane Hugo, Hurricane, what was the big hurricane? I forget the big hurricane that tore up all of Miami just about. It was a lot of people robbing graves to get FEMA checks. They were going around and looking on gravestones and finding out people's old Social Security numbers and doing FEMA fraud. They had stole so much money from FEMA in Miami off of those dead bodies from different hurricanes. They're always running around looking for a dead body after a hurricane. So many FEMA claims for dead people that's been dead for a while. Usually they look for a freshly dead, somebody that's only been dead for, maybe 5 to 10 years. They don't go far back looking for really old dead bodies. Just freshly dead bodies where sometimes people don't send in the death certificate to the government to cut off their Social Security. So, because sometimes a family member is still using their Social Security, and as long as the government don't know the person is dead, then they still collect the money off of that dead person. A lot of times people do that, and a lot of people know that's what's going on, and so they go look for that person's grave so they can start doing identity theft on a dead person. I knew this person who had done so many dead body identity thefts. They had like 10 different identities on dead people. They were, and they're still doing this, living under a dead person's name with a dead person's identity that they're using currently on their ID. They got a Florida ID with a dead person's name on it, and they are literally living a life through a dead person's name, Social Security number, and everything. Okay? The person is dead, so, you know, but I know of a person that's doing that type of stuff. A lot of people do it, especially if you are around people from Haiti and other countries, islands where they don't have legal status. Mexicans don't do it that much. Actually, I heard the Mexicans do it too. But mainly, is Caribbeans that are living through dead peoples. They're illegal. They're not registered with the United States, and they are going to graves and using the dead person's identity to get driver's license and other things. That's what they're doing. Okay, so and what do they do when they go to the person's gravestone? They find out their name. They find out the date of birth, because it's on there. It's on the gravestones. They go down with a piece of paper and they go write it down, and then they go find out, how to find other information on that dead person. find out their mother's maiden name. Is real easy for them to find that. They get that. And then they start getting other stuff. And unfortunately, when people are dead, you know, they don't know what's going on with their names. Okay? They're dead. They're gone. Okay? And the family members, they don't really be checking credit scores on their dead relative, because they ain't thinking that nobody even knows, because they doing something shady too. It's the relatives that, you know, didn't cut the Social Security number off. And trust me, most people nowadays, they be needing money, so they don't alert the government of nothing. They just keep collecting on the dead body. Okay, so what's happening now? I want to tell you guys something that I learned a long time ago. Okay, now I want to just put this out. It's not really that we're talking about scams. It's just that we need to educate each other on history. Okay. So I'm gonna show you something that we deal with every day, and we don't realize where the origins of where things come from in our lives. Okay. To me, this is very interesting. To an intelligent mind, you might find that this is a very interesting topic. The origins of things. Okay. Now we got something. We got this thing. Okay. What does it say on this bottle? Okay. It says Dr. Pepper. Okay. Now, who this person was, this Dr. Pepper, he was a doctor. Okay. He was a good doctor, though. Okay. But what he did, he was back in the old days. This is way before I was born. Just something that I read about when I was a child. About this man named Dr. Pepper. His name wasn't really Dr. Pepper. It was some other name, but he was a doctor. Okay, this is what we're drinking today. It was something that this man, he was a doctor, and he created this. Okay. He was the inventor of what we call the soda pop. Okay. It was not just him, it was all doctors. Okay. Every doctor was in the soda pop scam. Okay. So what was going on is that these were supposed to be some type of elixir. They were called elixirs. And what they wanted people to do is they wanted them to come to the doctor's office and drink a Dr. Pepper, and they would drink it, and supposedly it was to cure all kinds of ailments. Supposed to cure headaches. It would, and I'll tell you why, because it was something they were putting in it. Okay, when they put caffeine in it, that was to cure a headache. They would put massive amounts of caffeine in it, and that would stop the headache. So most people thought that these things were just instead of Tylenol or Advil, you had to drink something with caffeine in it, and it would get rid of a headache. That was the original purpose for these Dr. Peppers. Okay. And it was doctors this, doctor that, come and drink my elixir. So they would always have something in there that would be cold and refreshing, and it tasted good to these patients that would need to come in and drink these Dr. Peppers. So they would come in and they would drink these elixirs, curing all kinds of ailments, supposedly. So then this man decided that what he was going to do, this man, he was another doctor. Well, he came up with a Coca-Cola. He said, come and drink mine. You know, this one is going to make you feel good. And this one is going to be the best one out there. It's going to be the feel-good Coca-Cola. Well, what he was doing was he was putting cocaine inside. He had put a drug called cocaine, crack. They were full of cocaine, Coca-Cola. They were cocaine colas. Okay, so he was a drug pusher. He was a drug pusher that was causing people to become drug addicts off of the coke. They were getting high and getting drunk in his office. And what was happening with this Coca-Cola, he was getting some drugs from South America. He was getting cocaine. So at this time, the people knew where they could get doped up and drugged up. And Coca-Cola became the biggest producer of the soda pop. Everybody wanted to drink some cocaine, Coca-Cola, so they could get high than a motherfucker off a bottle of Coke. Eventually, the government has stepped in because these people were just putting all kinds of stuff in these drinks. And they told this doctor that was working for Coca-Cola, who had made the formula, they told him, you better take that cocaine out of those Coca-Cola bottles. And he was fighting it through the courts, and they said, no, the cocaine is officially illegal. They declared war on this man called whatever his name was that had made the Coca-Cola. So the Coke man, he had to get rid of the cocaine. So, and then Dr. Pepper was told that he couldn't do certain things with his elixirs. So what they decided to do, they had to take these out of the doctor's office, and they just decided to, well, they took all the cocaine out of it. They took all the other stuff out of it. They had to clean the Coke out of it. They had to get the caffeine down to a minimum level. They had to reformulate all this stuff. But the people really liked the taste of these things, and everybody still wanted a soda pop from a Dr. Pepper or Dr. whatever his name was. So then they came out with something like a Sprite, where it would just be a lemon clear, like watery thing. And then they just started selling them and just at stores, and everybody realized they could just drink it and they could still feel good. And they had a little bit of caffeine in it that would make them feel good. If it was a Coke product or something dark, then they would just run around feeling good all the time drinking these drinks. Well, it became a sensation all around the world, and everybody wanted to drink a Coke and a Dr. Pepper. Okay, so they still got rich and still got famous. Now Coca-Cola is all over the world. It doesn't matter where I go in the world, you can always find Coca-Cola. I've been all over Western Europe, all over Scandinavia. I've been to Eastern Europe. What do I see? Coca-Cola. It's not Pepsi all the time. It's Coca-Cola. If you go to Mexico, it's Coca-Cola factories. If you go to even Africa, they got Coca-Cola all over this entire world. Australia, New Zealand, Coca-Cola is all over this planet. That man has generated, whoever his family is, and I saw the Coca-Cola main headquarters in Georgia, in a beautiful part of Georgia. And whoever he was, he really made a success out of his family. His family will be successful forever. They will always have a product to sell all over this entire goddamn globe. And also, they were also near Antarctica. Let me not forget, they were also in Canada. They were global. Okay. So is McDonald's, but that's another story. They ain't doing shit wrong. McDonald's all over this planet too. No matter where you are on this planet, you can always find a McDonald's, no matter where you are. Doesn't matter if you're in Antarctica, they got McDonald's there too. All over Australia, everywhere. Africa, they got them there too. Some of these people, they come up with an idea, and it just goes all over this globe. Okay. So there are good doctors and there are bad doctors. Okay. Now the stuff that they were doing with these elixirs, they had to change the formula, but what did they do? They still made millions, billions, trillions of dollars. Unlimited wealth. And what is their commodity? Their commodity is water. What is their commodity? Water, corn syrup, some fucking corn syrup from a corn stalk, some caramel, some color, a little bit of acid, natural and artificial flavors, some sodium benzoate, and some caffeine. And guess what? This is mostly just water with a little bit of all that stuff in it. And guess what? They put a little bit of bubbles, oxygen in it, and now they are the winners of everything. Okay. Dr. Pepper, he got it cleaned up. Now where's all his products all over the world? Not so much Dr. Pepper. Who is the biggest one? The cocaine dealer. The cocaine man, the cocaine dealer. Coca-Cola. The cocaine winner. He's the winner of the drug. He was the winner of the cocaine. Now we legalizing marijuana. Now it's time to be LionPuss SkinCare. No, LionPuss Kush. LionPuss Kush. Am I able to break out worldwide? We'll see. LionPuss Kush. Marijuana. Marijuana, baby. Legalized in Florida state. Legalized in 12 states. They're kind of late on that marijuana then. You see what cocaine did for Mr. Coca-Cola? He started off as a drug dealer with cocaine. Time for Florida Pie 08 to get into LionPuss Kush. What is that? Weed. Marijuana. Let me tell you something. Time for me to break out and do some, fuck aviation. Time to do some drug dealing. Okay. Nothing illegal. Nothing illegal. I'm going to follow all the laws. I'm going to go to school for, and get my training, get my certifications, get a license. I'm not going to do nothing illegal when it comes to that. Everything is going to be all legal. No illegal activity. Got a Florida pile on 8 on something that's serious. Serious money involved means serious consequences if you fuck up. So see, when it's serious money involved, you can't be playing. It ain't no joke when it's serious money involved. That's serious money. Trust me. Serious, serious, serious money. Cash flow like unlimited wealth for a long time. Because where is that plant going through? That LionPuss Kush that I'm going to create? LionPuss Kush will always be able to grow anywhere on this planet with availability of growing. Whether you got a greenhouse, whether you got some yard. I'm not advocating for you to grow my LionPuss Kush. I'm just saying LionPuss Kush is a plant. And plants have roots. I know how to make sure my LionPuss Kush will always be on this planet. Okay, so anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you, we have to keep history alive. We have to share what was what and what it is now currently. So anyway, guys, I think that's it. I love you guys. Always stay positive. Keep your positive focus. And no matter what you dream of, dreams can come true. But you have to stay positive, and you have to get an education, and you have to do things legal. And make sure that you get a lawyer involved for anything legal that you don't understand. Especially when it deals with money of epic magnitudes of strong money wealth. That could be in your family for a long fucking time. Forever. Do you think Coca-Cola's family will ever be poor and broke? Do you think they'll ever be poor and broke? Never. They'll never be poor and broke, not for generations to come. They'll always have a factory somewhere on this globe. If one fails, guess what? They got 15, 20, 50, but maybe 1,000 more. I'm not talking about just in this state, but they got plants everywhere, all over the globe. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something to the gorilla boons, the baboons, chimpanzee boons, the ones that are wanting to play on the NFL and the NBA. That's short money, baby. Once you can't play no more games and bounce a ball up and down and throw a football, once you spend your millions, it's gone, baby. It's history. What do you have left? And if you got a new car, in 10 years, it ain't gonna be worth shit. If you got a house and you can't pay the taxes, guess what? The government gonna take it. So all these little basketballers and rappers and stuff, that ain't even no real commodity. You ain't got shit to show for nothing. Once your career is over and ain't nobody buying your records because your shit over, your shit ain't hot no more, you have no commodity whatsoever. You ain't gonna be able to continually grow wealth for your family. Bouncing the ball don't last for long. Once your career is over, where's your money is gone. Once you spent it on designer clothes and jewelry and cars and houses, you ain't got shit to show for nothing. 10 years later, you will be broke than a motherfucker. Right back to where you stupidly started. You ain't got no commodity. So if you don't know how to buy commodities, and don't buy nothing invisible. If you can't hold it, touch it, drink it, feel it, then you ain't got shit. If you're buying invisible currencies online, bitcoins and things that you can't physically touch, nowadays always all these new currencies coming out. If you can't physically touch it and feel it and drink it, you ain't got shit. If it don't save people's lives and it ain't a necessity, you ain't got shit. If it ain't no technology that people need to use, you ain't got shit. If it ain't something to keep them alive by eating or drinking, you ain't got shit. I mean, you don't have a commodity. And if you're selling sex pics on OnlyFans and you're selling women's bodies, then you're a body dealer. But eventually they'll grow old and rise up, and then they'll be gone. Then if you think you can just keep on marketing women and selling videos of women as your only commodity, you're just selling human pictures and images. That's your only commodity. But that's not a useful commodity, because that is not, they say, oh, that's the oldest profession in the world. You gotta wise up. What if they decided to ban pornography? If they decided to take off your OnlyFans, then where are you gonna be? Nowhere, because you ain't got no technology to put it back on. What are you gonna do if your camera breaks and you ain't got shit else? Then they say, well, you can't use cameras anymore for pornography. Do you still have a profession and a commodity with your OnlyFans? You still don't got shit. Oh, you might think, oh, I could open up a strip club. What if they decide to change the law and ban nudity in a strip club? If you ain't got no political power, you at somebody else's mercy, you still don't have a commodity. You have to have a commodity that is necessary. You have to have a commodity that everybody needs at some point. You have to have a useful commodity that can't be banned or destroyed. And if it does get destroyed, you need to know where another district is or another country is where your commodity can be sold. But if you don't have a commodity at all, nothing, then you broke than a motherfucker. Because if you're at somebody else's mercy and they got the political power against you to stop you, then you have nothing. And if you think by voting in Obama or Kamala is going to let you do illegal activities, we would all be destroyed. This planet would self-destruct. I don't vote for no niggers, period. I didn't vote for Kamala. I didn't vote for no fucking Obama. I'm not that fucking stupid. I know to avoid gorillas and chimpanzee boons and anything else. And if you say that's mixed, I don't give a fuck. Don't never give no power position to nothing that's not only one human. If they look like it got chimpanzee boon, a gorilla boon in it, keep on moving and do not give that boon buffoon no vote. I'm going to tell you all the dramas and the horrors of giving a gorilla boon some. I'll give you an example real quick. Okay. Now, Africa has a lot of wealth and prosperity. Okay. People think that Africa is poor and broke. It's not. It's actually an extremely wealthy continent. But the reason why it looks all broken, busted, and raggedy is because whenever they had a beautiful area, and it's still so much violence and stupidity. Okay, so it goes like this. The white person, the white government, whatever country they come from, they'll establish a government from Britain or France or wherever. Usually Britain or France will do it. Okay. So they will establish a government. Okay. And then they'll make everything beautiful and prosperous because they got intelligence. When you run in a country, you got to know economies. You got to know how to deal with currencies. You got to know laws. You got to know legal strategies. You got to know, things about immigration. You got to know. You can't just have a little punk ass law degree. You got to know all kinds of stuff. It's so many levels of things that you need to know. You need to know how to do economic stimulations. You gotta know all kinds of stuff. I mean, I can't even go over all the things that you need to be clever about. Not only do you need to be educated, but you need to be very smart. And honestly, let me tell you, it's so much that I want to just blurt out all at once. Okay. The reason why those countries are crashing and failing so tragically. Okay, so let's say, for example, it's a white country in charge of things. See, black people have to realize that they can't govern themselves. They're not. I'm a human, and there are black humans, and there are humans of color. But a lot of people don't know. A lot of black people that you see are not humans. They're gorillas, chimpanzees, and baboons. Just because they don't look like the pictures that you see of the ones in the zoo, they are still not human. To be a human, you have to have an IQ of 100. You got to have all your elements of the earth. You got to have I forget all the elements: water, air, fire, and another element. You got to have all your elements. Okay. If you're missing an element, that means that you're not qualified for human. Okay. Human means something about intellectual, not just about your appearance. The more refined the structure of the face is, and the body structure is, the more advanced primate. Okay. Got to start using the word primate. Okay. So what happened was with these countries that fail, that crash. Okay, so the white country will be in charge of the resources. That's what they're called, resources. Okay, because they got minerals and gold and diamonds and oil and all kinds of stuff that they need to transport. And they got things that they need for cell phones now. So these countries that are raging in violence is because this mineral that they need for a cell phone. Okay, this is just for one example. Okay, so what'll happen? There'll be a white country that's controlling the resources, and when they're in control, they got buildings and hotels and stores and restaurants, and everything looks beautiful. Okay, but there's always going to be those chimps and baboons and gorillas that don't understand that they're not human. Okay. They can talk and ook and eek, ooh, 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 eek, 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 eek. When they talk in that accent where it's ooh, 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 eek, 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 that's a gorilla, boom. That's a baboon or a chimpanzee, boom. And they go ooh, 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 eek, 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 ooh, ooh. When they talk and you hear that ooh, 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 eek, 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 that's not a human. That's a gorilla or a baboon or a chimp, okay? Ookin and eekin, that's what they call it, ookin and eekin. When they start ookin and eekin, and they start chimping it and raging and busting things and breaking things. That's a chimpanzee. Boom. Boom. Okay. Have you ever remember when you were growing up, they would say, it's some nigger from the boondocks? And then that nigger was singing Sitting on the Dock of the Bay in the Boondocks. Remember that old song? Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, go away. Sitting on the dock of the bay. Remember that song? And then they would say he was sitting in the boondocks. Have you ever heard a white man say boom, a she-boom, baboon? Okay, it's just a boom, okay? Or something like that. It's just a knuckle dragger or something. There's certain white people that know that those are not humans, okay? So what these primates will do, they think that they're humans, but they're not. Okay, the primates will just start rebelling and start protesting and stuff and running around and screaming and yelling. They'll say that they want equality and that they want money and making all kinds of demands. They'll say it's their country when it's really not. It's the white man and the Asian. It's everybody's country. Continent is the continent. Continent belongs to every race on this planet. No black nigger is just the owner of all that resource and land. Okay, so the nigger is confused and baffled. He thinks that he owns all this stuff and he really doesn't. He doesn't understand that it belongs to the white man anyway. It belongs to the white race just as much as it belongs to some of the other niggers. I mean, it's people that it belongs to. Okay. The white race originated in Africa. The white race they could trace their ancestry back to the great apes of Africa. They're the most advanced primate. Okay, so the white primate is at the top of the scale. Then the Asian, okay. Then the nigger, okay. So it's white first, Asian second, but now the Asians are moving up, but they're almost equal. Okay, the whites and Asians are, compatible, but the nigger boon is not. But there are some darker skinned. I don't call myself black. I call myself a darker skinned human. Okay, primate, original primate, lemur, monkey. Okay. I believe in evolution. I believe that I came all the way from LionPuss. I'm feline. Okay. So what happened is the nigger boons. Okay, let me tell you what happened with the nigger boons. Okay. The niggers would start rebelling and chimping out and babooning and screaming, demanding equality, demanding that the white man get out of their country and start raising hell. And then what happens, they'll start demanding independence. Okay, so once they start demanding independence, and then it gets worse from there. Okay, so the white man, he'll go ahead and oblige. He'll give them their punk ass independence, all right. Okay, So he'll give the nigger their independence and, you know, whatever. And then he starts doing business with them, I guess. I don't know what be going on behind the scenes of giving these niggers their independence. But what they want is to rule themselves. And then when they get in and they vote the most intelligent gorilla that they can find into the office, well, that gorilla doesn't know shit. He doesn't know anything at all. He can barely speak English. He can barely speak French. He can barely speak anything. All he does is ook and eek and demand things. And then what happens is the lights start getting cut off all over their homes. The water start getting cut off. And then they start rebelling and screaming that somebody got to put all that stuff back on. And then they start going through the stores just looting and stealing things. Then it becomes a riot. Then it becomes a war. Then it just starts getting chaotic. And then the white person that left in charge, they just sit back and watch them destroy themselves. And believe me, they're doing it. And then when they finish destroying themselves, then another white nation will come in and clean up the rubble and then start the process all over again after we're long gone. So, you know, they don't understand that they can't govern themselves. A chimpanzee, baboon, or gorilla walking around with his chest puffed out and saying that he demands equality. Well, baby, you gotta earn equality. You gotta earn equality. You can't just go around demanding equality when you're not equal. You're not even a human being. You can talk and walk, and you can barely talk. I'll tell you something real quick, and then I'll get off this phone because I gotta elaborate. Okay, what happened is when I was working in Miami, had to do something I used to work for a political company off and on. So as you know, I worked for Jeb Bush through a political company. I wasn't directly his employee. I was 1099. And then I worked for George Bush up in Ohio to get him reelected. Okay. So I also been to the White House. I also worked for a political company in Washington, D.C. So I know a little bit about politics. Okay. So what happened was I was working. I was doing something for it was, I think, Mayor Martinez down in Miami. I was doing something for Mayor Martinez. Okay. So I had to do something with some paperwork with these niggers. The niggers would come to me because I was working, and they were actually it wasn't at the voting poll, but they were doing something to vote for an initiative for Mayor Martinez. Okay. What these niggers were doing, they couldn't even read, they couldn't even write, and they could barely speak English. They were one of those niggers that would talk like this day that, this day that, this day that, ook and eek, this day that, this day that, this day that. Okay, so I would be kind and polite to the niggers, and I would find that the niggers couldn't read shit. So they would tell me real secretive that they couldn't read or write. And if they can't read or write, they have to put an X by their name. And you have to witness underneath their name that you were the witness, that it was that person that had signed it. They show you their ID, you witness it, and say, you know, you just put your name underneath theirs as a witness. Okay. When it comes to documents, if somebody can't write, they have to just put an X. And that means they can't read or write. But the danger of that is that these niggers are voting for things, and they don't even know how to read or write or sign their names. Now, do you understand why they said black people couldn't vote? Because if you can't read or write or spell your name or even talk intelligently, and you're actually there to make important decisions on legislators, and they're there ooking and eeking around, and they're actually putting initiatives on the ballot, and they don't really know what the hell they're talking about or what they're doing, that is dangerous. That is hideously dangerous. You can't let people that don't know anything at all actually have political power when they don't know what they're even doing. That could have been like that Maxine Baker that made the Baker Act facilities. Maybe these niggers didn't know, because it started in Miami with an initiative. And that's how it got started, through a nigger that did it. Okay. She made the biggest fraud thing going on, Baker Act facilities. It was a nigger that did it. Maxine Baker is her name, from Miami, Florida. She fucked this state up with those Baker Act facilities, and we're still being fucked over with those facilities. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is this. Okay, I just said all that because I got that stuff weighing heavily on my mind, and I just needed to put it out. Know it's a little bit off subject, but I have to go all into details. Just took an opportunity while I got this powerful platform to just throw that at the people that like to watch my videos. Just throw it out there in case I don't get around real quick to say those things. So we have to, and I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but honestly, we have to educate ourselves. I will tell you why we have to be educated. As a political person, I'm not gonna run for any political offices, but I do know about politics and legal strategies. And after I write my theory of evolution, I am gonna go to the government, no matter where I am, and we need to get people classified for human, gorilla, bonobo, or chimpanzee bone. We have to start breaking things apart, and I'll explain why. And these people doing all these DNA tests, they're just tricking niggers into sending that in so that they can find out where the gorilla bones are at. Okay. Find all the relatives, find all these booms, and they're keeping it on a file. They know that those are not human beings, and they're just telling people that everybody is a human. Let me tell you something. When I talk about human, just remember it's just a name of an ape. Okay, human means that you are an ape. You are a primate of human means that you are a primate descended from the great apes of Africa, but you are a human based off of certain criteria. Okay, human is just a name of an ape. That's all it is. It just means a certain type of ape classification. Okay, the cousin species of a human ape is a gorilla. Some scientists will say it's chimpanzee bone. Some scientists will say it's baboon. Most of them that you check with, they'll say that the gorilla is the closest cousin to the human. Gorilla boons. Okay. And I believe that's to be true for certain reasons. Because most of these African Americans are gorilla boons. They're not humans, they're gorillas. When you start finding out about guerrilla tactics and guerrilla armies, and you start looking at the niggers, and also you got to look in Africa, you got to look at documentaries, you got to look at the gorillas that's in the jungles, you got to look at the tribal gorillas, and you got to compare them to the African Americans. Look at their face, look at their bone structure, look at their bodies, look at their sexual mating ways. I mean, the sexual mating tells it all. And then, because I'm gonna tell you real quick, that twerking started with gorilla bones and jungles. And I'm not talking about African American look. I'm talking about the one from the zoo. The one the actual twerkers, the twerk teams, gorilla bones. Those gorillas. Okay. When also bonobos, one of the things about bonobos, some species of bonobos, the reason how a male bonobo can tell when a female bonobo is in heat and ready to fuck, the butt of the bonobo gets big. It starts swelling up. So their butts are normally not that big, but when they're ready to fuck, their butts swell up into a round bubble ball. And then they start twerking and then taking a shit and doing other filth. And then the nigga boom sees all that twerking filth, and then they run up and start fucking it from behind. They don't like how the ugly face looks, and they just fuck it. And then the thing just runs off into the woods in the jungle. Next thing you know, the boon just has a baby 9 months later. And then she be fucking all kinds of other boons. Sometimes gorilla boon, sometimes baboon, just fucking any type of primate that wants to fuck. Then they just have anything that just falls out the vagina, falls on the ground, and they don't know what the fuck it is really. They don't love it. They don't give a fuck about it too much. And then it's just other boons just doing that. Gorillas just have sex once every hour. Every hour is a different fucking session. Every hour the gorilla boon just fucks another bitch. in the woods and in the jungle, just going around fucking all day long, all day, every hour he fucks a different one. Sometimes the same one will come back, but he'll diss her ass. She'll sit there in the trees and the sticks, just looking and feeling sad. And then she'll run to another nigger boy boon and try to fuck him. It's just all kinds of fucking going on, all in those jungle boons. Fucking and running around. And what does the North American pavement ape do? Talk about liking big butts. Running around looking at Shanquinique with a big booty. Doing the same thing that Gorilla Boon and Baboon doing over in Africa. No different. No different. Same shit, different country, different continent. And then they say, oh, they're humans. You're human? Well, why are you twerking like the twerk team in the jungle of the Congo? They said, oh, because he's from the Jungle Boys, Boogie Boys, or the album by RCA Records. I'm like, hell no, that motherfucking Gorilla Boon ain't got no recording. He ain't no recording artist. He ain't got shit. He don't even have a hut to live in. He lives on the ground underneath a tree. Oh, he look like Jay-Z and Beyonce Boon. Hell no, he look worse than Beyonce. He look worse than Jay-Z. He uglier than motherfucking Jay-Z at everything. You want to go look at his picture on the goddamn internet? Is he at the recording studio with Tupac? Hell no, the Tupac army got gunned down in Monrovia. But I thought Tupac got killed on the west side. No, the motherfuckers called the Tupac army in Monrovia, Liberia. But see what those motherfucking boons doing? Are you sure you want to look? Are you sure you want to look at what they're doing? They're killing and eating motherfuckers left and right. Are you sure you want to see them? They are from America. They're African Americans. Yes, they are. Monrovia. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, those are the ones that look like the niggas at the corner store type shit. Those boons, not Japanese. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Far from that. Far from that. Far from that. Japanese ain't got no boon in them at all. They lemurs. Okay, respectable lemurs. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but the boons that's doing all the twerking and fucking is the motherfucking gorilla that you see. Type in cousin primate to human. Gorilla Boon shows up. Gorilla Booned out. I'm talking Gorilla Boon with that fur all over it. That's the Gaboon that you related to closely. Because the same shit he doing is the same shit you doing. I promise you. But he ooking and eeking more. Ooh, 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 ooh. Eek. He just doing that shit. We all need equality with the Gorilla Boons. We all must get equality with the baboon. We all must get equality with the chimpanzee boom, Obama boom, Kamala boom. We must all have equality. We must all be the same. We must all be the same. Fuck you. You know we're not the same. We can't get equality for those fucking boons. Oh my gosh. Equality my ass. You sound retarded. Woo, shit, you a dumb motherfucking boon talking that shit. Know your goddamn place, niggers. You can't govern yourselves. Please look at these motherfucking fallen countries all over Africa. A continent extremely, extremely rich and wealthy, but always being torn apart by nigger boons. They think that, let me tell you something. If you ever met a white South African, and you think South Africa looks poor, no, South Africa is extremely beautiful. Extremely top level beautiful. Cape Town and Johannesburg, up in those mountains and on those beaches, they got beauty and money. What will a white South African from Britain or France or from the Netherlands tell you? See, they love Africa, so they'll tell you in a heartbeat that they are Africans. They will be very fierce about it. Will they claim Dutch? No, they'll say that they are African. Will they claim France? No, they will even say they're African. Will they claim Britain? Hell no, they're going to say they're African. Why? Because they want South Africa, Zimbabwe. but you are a nigger and you don't know what the fuck they're doing with it, they're not going to give up South Africa to no niggers. They've been holding on to that for a long time. Nigger Mandela came and fucked some shit up. They still held on to it. So obviously they're not just going to walk away. If they're going to claim Africa before anything. Okay, because what do they have? They got oil. They got diamonds. They got minerals. They got iron. They got steel. They got copper. What is that? A commodity, nigger. They got commodities that all over this planet somebody needs and wants. They got commodities. That means they got money. You think they're just going to give that money to some nigger? Hell no. They're going to tell you that they are African. They're not stupid. Why? Because then they can claim it and own it and sell it and then get property and have property rights and use commodities. They got the commodities. What do you have? Music, singing, and dancing and rapping. What do you have? Beyonce, Boone, and Jay-Z. That's a damn shame. You ain't got a goddamn thing to your goddamn name. What do you say? Oh, you're not African American. You're not African at all. What will they say? I'll take your motherfucking land in a heartbeat, dummy. You a dumb nigger and you don't even understand a fucking thing. So fucking stupid, it's pathetic. Okay, so no, nigger, you can't govern yourself. You're too fucking dumb and stupid. Fucking nigger, that's the problem. If they would just see, let me go, get ready to go. The reason why I want to tell the niggers, please understand, you have to be classified for your classification. Your classification has to be addressed because we can't just have you running around fucking up things all the time. You have to stop thinking that you can govern yourself. This is the point that I'm trying to make. You can't govern yourself. You can't govern yourself. You can't govern yourself. Somebody over you has to govern you, but we have to make somebody over them to make sure that you're not being abused and tortured and killed for money or anything. So everybody has to govern everybody. Okay, but you can't govern yourself because you're going to fuck everything up, including yourself. Okay? So you can't govern yourself. You're not intelligent. So you have to realize you are stupid. You are dumb and you are backwards. So you can't govern your stupid ass self. No, you can't. You cannot. I know my fucking place. What do I do to the white race? Be respectful. I might call them a white motherfucker, but when it comes to intelligence, they need to govern the country because they know better than I do. They're older, they're sophisticated, they got intelligence. He needs to be, so I always vote for the white man. I ain't gonna vote for no goddamn chimpanzee, Boone. What the fuck I look like doing something that goddamn stupid? White man knows best, okay? Let him govern the country. Putting a Kamala as vice president? What the fuck are you thinking? God damn. Stupidity of epic magnitudes. Whatever. She might be on my smug mug because she was with Uncle Rock Rock. But it's just for me clowning and laughing. Honestly, I don't support no Kamala. I never supported no Obama. I would never support no nigger in no office. Political position, governing, nobody. They can barely govern themselves. No way. Okay. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about, the origins of things. We have to learn the origins of things and keep them in our history. So anyway, live fiercely, love viciously, and remember, atheism is unstoppable. Bye, guys.